Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us for Alumni Pride. My name is Wayne McCullough. We appreciate so much you're joining us today. Thank you. We have a very special guest today, Mrs. Lisa Myers from the class of 1989. I'm not trying to date you, but I just want everyone to know that you are a graduate of Susquehannock High School. Mrs. Myers is kind of unique and actually a very special guest because not only is she a Susquehannock High School graduate, but she has gone on to be employed. She works here for Southern York County School District as the coordinator of student transportation, as well as lives in our community and has two young children that attend Friendship Elementary School. So probably the links that you have to the school district are very unique and very strong and continue to be strong. But let's start. Tell us a little bit about your family and a little bit about what you do also, please.
Well, my family, I have, like you said, two children that go to Friendship Elementary School. And I also work here for the school district. I'm the coordinator of the student transportation, so it's quite a big task.
Yeah. A little bit first, when you go back to 1989 in Susquehannock High School, I'm always interested in people who were at what I'll call that era. Because in 1987 really began or was in the midst of one of the major construction projects of Susquehannock High School. Truly almost doubled its size with a whole new wing here on let's get that right, the north side of the building, as well as moving the cafeteria from out of the basement up to where it currently is right now on the west side. So it's just major change that took place in the high school. What was that like?
The one change I can remember was the library. I could just remember the library being so nice. That's just the one thing that stuck out to me. The cafeteria really didn't. It was more the library. Yeah,
it's kind of interesting because in my mind, you know, being a student in 1976, truly one of the major transformations, I guess I'd say two. Perhaps the cafeteria. The library did make great change, so maybe I would add that in my list of top three. But saying that, the auditorium also, just a great change in the auditorium. Now, graduated in '89, you had the opportunity to be part of some of that new facilities, and what was that like? Was there excitement? Were the students excited about it?
It was very exciting, and our graduation was actually held in the auditorium, so that was very nice.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, yeah, it rained that night, so.
Talk a little bit about, you know, now that you walk the hallways and because you work here in the district administration building, what changes do you see, just maybe in students and in the building itself, some things that you would say, gosh, it's just hard to believe in those not quite 20 years how things have changed?
I would say mainly the athletics, how we have a new weight room, our computer labs. They're so much different from when I went here, and it wasn't that long ago I went here, but they have made tremendous strides in those areas, so it's really nice. We're very, very fortunate with our facilities. Yeah,
there's no question. I think one of the things people point out as I give tours to alums of the facility is truly that. I mean, say, my goodness, it's just an outstanding facility, and students have just a great opportunity for success. The fact that you live in the community, I think, tells us that your roots are here, you know, your family's here, but also that you believe, knowing you as I do, that the education that takes place here at the elementary level and all levels is significant for your children.
It is. It's very, very important to me and my entire family.
I know your daughters attend Friendship Elementary School. Mrs. Kuntz, the principal at Friendship. Tell us a little bit about their experience and what your thoughts on Friendship.
I went to Friendship. That's the school that I went to.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so I love Friendship. I think it's a wonderful family, community-oriented school. I would say all of them are, though, but Friendship is where I went, so my heart's kind of there. But I love the school, the teachers. They're all wonderful. Every year people say, who's your teacher? And it doesn't matter who the teacher is because they're all wonderful teachers, wonderful staff. We're very lucky.
Yeah, I think you're right when you say all the elementary schools, but Friendship particularly seems to have that closeness as a close unit, and maybe just because it's a little bit smaller than Southern Elementary School in Shrewsbury. And I'm sure if we ask parents of students who are at those two elementary schools, they'd say the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a culture of closeness and family and looking out for each other, and that whole culture is, I think, just perfect for young children.
I think so too. And like I said, my heart's there because I went there. So I can remember my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Wagner.
All right. Wow, isn't that something? She was your kindergarten teacher.
She was.
Wow, I didn't realize she taught kindergarten. That's kind of interesting. Well, she obviously still around, and
Yep.
in fact, I see her every morning, and I drop my daughter off at Good Shepherd Daycare, so
Yep.
she's still working with young people.
Yeah. Well, and my children used to go to Good Shepherd just for that reason, because of, having her be my teacher and now teaching my children.
It's kind of interesting. Now, are there any faculty members that stick out to you from your time at Susquehannock High School, and maybe why?
Mrs. Schultz. Mrs. Schultz, the English teacher, really sticks out to me just because I always struggled in English. And the year I had her, everything turned around, and I ended up getting an A in her class. So
She's one of those kind of faculty members that, as a student, she just loves you.
Yep.
And it's not just you. It seems to be like my son had her, and my son felt that way. So she has the ability to really, I don't know, make people know that she cares about them. It's kind of
and I can also remember in my middle school years, I had Chuck Abbott as my science teacher.
Oh, okay.
And Mr. Abbott was a wonderful science teacher, and that year we had a friend who had passed away. So it was a challenging year for our 8th grade class, but he ended up being there for all of us, and it was quite an impression he had put on me, as well as Mrs. Schultz.
Now, Mr. Abbott's the athletic director here for the school district. I don't know if anyone puts more time in on a daily basis than Mr. Abbott with all the athletic events that go on and so forth, but he is a good man. There's no question. In fact, in an upcoming Warrior Chat, we'll talk with him and some students on a new freshman orientation program that he was instrumental in developing, and it kind of tells you a little bit about Mr. Abbott and then the way he does care for students.
Yep, he truly does.
That's kind of neat. Your job as coordinator of student transportation, tell us a little bit about that. It really is. It's quite a major job because you're transporting over 3,000 students on a daily basis. We often mention the statistic that we're covering over 70 square miles, so it's just an amazing job. But can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I build every summer. A lot of people think I don't work over the summer. It's probably my busiest time of the year. I start all the kindergartners, putting them on bus routes who are now coming in the fall. And we put all the first graders then on elementary buses and move all the elementary 6th graders that are now becoming 7th graders to a secondary bus. And we work with the challenges of people changing bus stops because of moving or daycare situations. So it's quite a challenging task every day. Plus, I'm here every day just to make sure it all runs smoothly.
Give us an idea, walk us through what a normal day might be at the start of a school. Is there such a thing as a normal day?
I don't think there's a normal day.
Okay, what a typical day might be, yeah.
Typical day, maybe Laidlaw calling me around 4:30, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning with a concern that they had the night before. So we're addressing that. That probably happens about once a week. And then throughout the day, parents are calling because maybe students missed a bus, or we need to change a bus stop, or they need to get on a different bus today because of a work schedule or something. And then we have the kindergartners. We always got to make sure there's someone there to get them. So, and then the afternoon run, we have to worry about the activity run and make sure that that's all taken care of properly.
I think a statistic you shared with me last year that absolutely floored me was that from the start of the school year to the end of the school year, there were over 1,000 changes made on students' bus stops in terms of location, because of babysitting, because of change of address, or somebody moving in, somebody moving out. That's just incredible. I mean, that's nearly 1/3 of the student population.
Yes, it is.
And the impact that has to have on the transportation system is, I'm sure, I don't think anybody would really realize.
No, I don't think people do realize. And then, we have training for the drivers. We have the medical conditions of students we need to be aware of so we can make sure they're all kept safely. So there's a lot that goes on.
Good. It's kind of interesting, again, when we talk about your life, so to speak, graduate of 1989, still living in the community. How long have you been working for the school district, and when you became employed by the school district, what kind of attracted you to it?
Well,
Sounds like a job interview, doesn't it?
Yeah, kind of. I've been here, this was my 7th startup this year, so I've been here for almost 7 years.
Wow.
What attracted me to it was, I would say, just being in the community. Being in the community where my children went, and being able to be part of my children's education, knowing the people better that are educating my children, which is the most important thing to me.
I've always thought that people who work for school districts have a unique sense and respect, or I'm not quite sure the right word, but reverence for the educational process. And I think that's true with your family. You know, your father works here as a district mechanic, your mother works here as a custodian at Shrewsbury Elementary School, and now you're working here as coordinator of student transportation. Your children are active in their buildings and active in the community. So, you know, you almost get the sense of how important that is, not only to you, but to your whole family.
It is. It's very important. And all the people that go into to a day's worth of education, it's amazing, all the hard work that everyone does here at this district. It really is.
We're speaking with Lisa Myers here on Alumni Pride. Lisa is a 1989 graduate of Susquehannock High School. Her children attend Friendship Elementary School, and she also is employed as coordinator of student transportation here for the Southern York County School District. Lisa, say you run into somebody, some other part of Pennsylvania, and they ask you to describe the community you live in, the Southern York County School District community. How would you describe that?
A very family-oriented, polite community.
That's kind of neat, and I think that's kind of a nice way to put it. I always tell people that the Southern York County work ethic is unique. And you know, I have a younger brother who lives out in California who says people show up from work wherever they feel like it, and you know, they leave to go home whenever they feel like it. And Southern York County people are not like that. I mean, you know, they work hard and they have a strong work ethic and they're dedicated. But hearing you say that, yeah, I think that's all true. Plus, they treat each other well and they're kind to each other. I like that, because that's probably not true in most urban areas, would be my guess.
Right.
The same question would be, say you're out of the school district and somebody says, well, describe Southern York County School District to them.
I would say it's a wonderful school district. They're focused on education, politeness, having your children involved in the community, in sports, and giving them the best education that we can.
Okay. That's a nice way to describe it. This is Wayne McCullough. I'm here with Mrs. Lisa Myers, the class of 1989 on Alumni Pride. We're so happy that you took time to join us today. So we'd like to thank the folks who are involved with Mr. Hare's video production classes, the man without a face, Dana back there. He's got arms that fly but no face. And also Zoe, who's working our cameras today. So for Mrs. Lisa Myers, the coordinator of student transportation in the class of 1989 at Susquehannock High School, I'm Wayne McCullough. Thank you so much for joining us on Alumni Pride, and I'll see you next time.